All right, I think we are live. Welcome everybody to the Maverix Lifestyles Rogue Hangout. It's Alicia Drew here, and we do apologize for the well, not very late, the few minutes late start. The Google gremlins, as we call them, had me going for a minute, but and I couldn't find the record button. But we're here now, and it's all good. And today, I am joined by a few of my regular panelists here, Sheena Yap-Chan and Chris as well. And we have a very special guest with us today. Miss Regina Floyd is here with us today. How you doing, Regina?
I'm doing awesome, thanks. Thanks so much for having me here today.
Yeah, no worries. And Regina, is going to be sharing with us how she literally spoke her freedom into existence. We're very excited to have her with us today. She's going to be sharing with us her journey of where she literally let go of everything that she knew and basically almost sold everything that she had and moved herself and her daughter and her dog and her cat to Hawaii from Las Vegas. And this literally happened like a couple of weeks ago. So this is very fresh, this is very new, and this might actually be the first time that Regina has shared this journey live on a Google Hangout, I do believe. So we're really pumped up to hear her story today, and we want to welcome everybody to the Hangout, all the regulars that come and watch us week in and week out, and anybody that's new today as well. If you can introduce yourself below the video, that would be great. We'd love to hear from you. And, you know, we like to bring you value each and every single week that we're here with you, and I think we'll go ahead and get started. So, Regina, if you want to come out and just share with us exactly how it was. I mean, you can probably go a little bit further back on what took place leading up to the decision that you made to literally change your family's life and live the laptop lifestyle that we all know and love. So take it away.
Okay. Well, you know, when you talk about speaking your life into existence or speaking your life into freedom, as I think back, I declared in 2003, I think is the first time I set foot on the island of Kauai. And I remember coming here and just like probably most people that come here fell in love with it. And I remember saying, I've got to live here someday. And the way life happens in 2003, that was not the year. And I was kind of reflecting on that maybe when I got here last week, kind of it hit me that I'm actually here and actually living here. That it took me 12 years. It took me 12 years to make that dream come true. But I just kept saying, and I kept coming back to visit. I think I probably visited maybe 7 or 8 times over the years, and every time saying the same thing, I'm going to live here someday. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where, but I'm going to live on this island. And I just kept focusing on that, but I didn't I didn't get overwhelmed, I didn't get crazy about it. I just kind of focused on and said that, and it was in the back of my mind for many years, something I wanted to do. And so that's kind of, I guess, where it began. Is just declaring that, you know, just choosing that that's what I wanted to do somehow, someday, and declared it. And today I'm here. So.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know, that was so many years ago now that you know, we talk about mindset a lot within our community, and it was something that you told yourself over and over and over again. It was something that you wanted, and you basically kept speaking it into existence. And you know, no matter how many years went by, you knew that you would actually have that existence, no matter what it took, no matter how long, which is really, really powerful. And I know that you said, you had mentioned in your journey that there were a series of events that took place that led you to want to build what we call the laptop lifestyle, because you were actually a police officer for many, many years, weren't you?
Yeah, actually a Las Vegas police sergeant working the Las Vegas Strip. So in 2003, I was an officer at that time, and I had lost my father in 2003. So the reality of mortality hit me then, and you know, just kind of that actually led me to a decision. I was at a stage in my life where I wasn't married, but the whole mortality and life is precious and life is short and time is short. I decided to adopt my daughter. And so after my father's death, just a lot of reflecting on how quickly life goes and how much we miss if we don't take action. And I think that's probably where the beginning of my mindset began, because I saw that I felt like I'd missed so much time with my dad, I wasn't willing to miss any more time. And later, and I'll explain in a minute later how that came to me making some serious choices when my mom got sick. But you know, in 2003, I was working as a police officer. I adopted my daughter in 2004. And when I got her as a single mom, adopting a little kid from Russia, I got her from a Russian orphanage in Russia. And I was really aware of the fact that I was going to be bringing this kid back. I worked 10-hour shifts, which means about 12 hours away from home by the time you get there and get back. And I'm going to put this kid in daycare. And I started looking, and that's where my journey began as far as looking for a way to make a living without selling so much of my time. Interestingly enough, I've been in multiple MLMs and started some great companies, but just never quite knew then what I know now from what we were all involved in. I didn't know what I know now, and tried a bunch of different companies, but got my feet wet. Started understanding the mindset. Started realizing that there was some way to get out of what I was doing. And then honestly, my father passed. I ended up moving over to take care of my mother. Life just got very busy. I got promoted to being a sergeant with the police department, and just really got into my career, making excellent. I was making $110,000 when I left, so a good six-figure income. You can imagine the adrenaline rush. Never a boring moment. Never the same kind of day, and just a lot of fulfillment in a lot of areas. But my mom, although I moved over in 2004 to take care of her, in 2008 my mother had a minor heart attack, and it was another wake-up call. And just prior to that, as I reflect, I think about how, you know, my source is God. I believe in God, and I have a woman of faith, and I believe that God sort of winked at me, if you want to say that, just kind of like, hey, nudge. When I was working the graveyard shift, and responded on a suspicious vehicle call, something pretty typical, in an area that I know. End up getting there. I'm the first person there. I have a gentleman working with me on my squad. He shows up. We see the car. I know the guy in the car because I've stopped him before. Turns out it's a security officer. I know that. So immediately my defenses come down because I know this guy. He can tell who we are. We're in big black and white police cars. Well, as the situation unraveled, what happens is, as I'm going on the radio, my partner is engaging him. And I get out of my car because I hear an altercation, like a verbal, they're arguing. I go to walk up, and in mere seconds, seems like seconds, like surreal, we go from he's talking to him to now he's got a taser pointed at him. The guy's out of his car. He draws a weapon, and it's just a surreal moment where I'm hearing him tell me to back up. I've got my gun drawn. I'm backing up. I'm watching him, and you know the reality, the realization that in that moment, life could have taken many different turns. It was we could have shot and killed him. He could have shot and killed my partner. He could have shot and killed me. It just could have been an awful moment. And I don't want to say that my life flashed before my eyes, but I believe I started, I just really woke up. I was like, oh my God, this could have been it. And I'm leaving an elderly mother and a young toddler at home all night. I worked graveyard because they slept all night. And when I was home during the day, if they did anything, I'd be there. I could be there. And I used to joke because people would say, why don't you get off graveyard? You've been here long enough. I'm like, well, if my mom burns the house, starts a fire, because she was older. If she starts a fire during the day, I'm hopefully going to smell it because I'm in bed. And at night, I tuck them in, and I hope that they just stay in bed all night. So, that was kind of the beginning of the journey to find something to just change my life. And ultimately, in 2008, when my mom got sick, that's when I said, you know what? Financially, I didn't make a smart decision. I was going to take a huge cut in pay. I was leaving without age. I'd only been on the department 20 years, so it wasn't going to be a full pension. I wasn't old enough to collect a full pension. But I made a decision to just, I guess, risk it all. I was like, you know what? I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to put my family first. I wasn't willing to lose any more time with my mother, and I didn't know how much time I had left. And I walked away from I just retired, walked away from the job, and over the years was a little difficult trying to figure out how to compensate. I ended up with about a third of the income I was making, and all the bills were still there. So it was an interesting journey, but even through the most difficult time, I don't regret that decision because I made a decision for me, and I made a decision for my freedom and for the freedom of my family. And interestingly enough, as time has passed, in this latest journey of moving to Hawaii, it really felt familiar in that way, where I got to be honest with you, it was pretty scary because I didn't wait for the perfect time. It's not like I became $1 million ring earner or suddenly, making $50,000 a month, or I didn't wait for the perfect moment. I made a decision to be, do, have. I said, you know what? I want to live in Hawaii. I'm gonna make that happen. I focused on that goal, and I quit worrying about all the little incidentals and all the planning, which for me is very difficult. I'm an A-type personality. I like to have everything lined up, everything solid. I know exactly what's happening, but I just went, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to choose to be, do, and have, and that's how I got myself to Hawaii, and that's where I'm at right now. So.
Wow, that's very powerful. I think I'm echoing here. I'm not sure who that is. But, oh, we're good. We're good now. It's interesting your choice of words on things. As you said, you didn't wait for the perfect moment, and so often I think that's what stops so many people living out their dreams, living out the things that they want to do. They're always waiting for. They're always getting ready to get ready, as we like to say. There's always, maybe next week or maybe next year or maybe when I have this or, sometime soon, I'll get to that later. And that perfect time is never going to arise. And before you know it, you're in your 70s, you're in your 80s, and you look back and you realize that you didn't do the things in life you wanted to do, and now it's too late. And that's the #1 regret of majority of people who are in their dying days as they're older, that they didn't do the things that they wanted to do. They were too busy pleasing others, and they didn't go after what they wanted. So it's amazing. And as you said, it would have been a scary risk-taking decision, but you knew that you wanted your time back and you wanted to put your family first.
Well, and the really exciting part, and I guess the thing I lean on besides faith, is leaning on the fact that because of living the laptop lifestyle and knowing and learning and being in the community that I'm in, I know that I have the skills, the tools, and the resources to do what I need to do to supplement my income, even if it's to go and do website or social media type stuff for other people. I know I have the skills. A lot of people are shocked when they find out I come here, and the first question they ask is, did you come here for work? And do you have a job? And what are you going to do? And I go, no, just need a laptop and Wi-Fi. I'm good. And they're shocked because everybody's under the assumption that, you can't move to Hawaii unless you've got millions. You can't move here unless you've got a job already lined up. I came here with no permanent place to live. I'm still looking. But I know that I have the ability, and it's because of what I've learned over the last 3 or 4 years I've been involved with this company, with doing what I'm doing and learning what I'm learning. I'm not one of those, what do they call it, the popcorn people that just popped and it's all successful the day I started. I've been one of those slow cookers, and that's okay, because what I know now, I know I could be successful in anything I want to do. And so coming here, knowing that my biggest asset, my biggest resource is this laptop that I'm on right now. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of comfort in that, because no matter what, I know I can make it work somehow, some way. So yeah, the rest of it was very difficult and also very probably cathartic in a lot of ways. It took me a while after my mother's passing. She passed in 2013, so I was a caregiver for her for that 5 years, and took care of her. And I wanted to be here last year. But I think in dealing with all the things you deal with when you're kind of purging all the memories and the mementos and the things that your parents, at least my parents, they kept everything. I was living in my childhood home, so my parents had been in that house probably 40 years with all their things. And it was quite a job, quite a process, and emotionally a cleansing to be able to look at a clock, to be able to look at a table, to give away mom's bed. And so that took a little bit of work. And as I look back, I don't get upset about that. I'd like to have been here last year, but I know that everything happens in its own time, and it's a journey. So I'm not where I want to be in my business yet, but that's okay because I'm getting closer. And it's a journey. It's my journey. And my biggest thing is I hope in my journey that by sharing it, even, I'm doing a day thing here where every day I just share what I've done since I've been here. I think I'm on day 11 or 12, one of the two, 12 I think. And I share that because it's not all glorified. It's not like I got here, hit the beach, and Mai Tai in hand, and that's it. So I'm sharing the realities of what I'm encountering as I'm getting here. Been here almost 2 weeks, and I'm hoping that somehow that's going to be a blessing to someone who's thinking about making that move, who's thinking about walking away from the job, doing those things that are very scary in life, but realizing it's when you step out of that comfort zone that magic happens. So.
Yeah, it's truly fascinating, and I can completely relate with with your story. I mean, I've been a professional dancer my entire life, and I've lived my dream. I've done the things that I've wanted to do in life and had a very supportive family around me. And I moved from Australia to Las Vegas without a job.
Wow.
I didn't have a show to walk into. My best friend was living there at the time, so I moved in with her. I had a place to live, and through her and through I'd been to Vegas for like 6 weeks a few months before that, and I was waiting for my visa to come through. So I'd already been there, and I'd already scoped things out and made a decision that I did want to come there and work. And so, I had my friend there, and I'd met some amazing people and gotten some amazing contacts. But I did get there, and I didn't have a job. So I was the one that had to get out and go to the auditions. I was the one that had to get myself out there and go through what professional dancers and entertainers go through day in, day out, rejection, 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 until you get the position that you're meant to take, the position that you want. And it led me to perform in many shows in Vegas, and I literally lived out that dream that so many Australian dancers thought wasn't achievable. To be able to move to the States and actually work is a huge deal. It's not an easy thing to do, and because I persisted and I took hold of that fear and used it, as adrenaline and actually did it, it came true, which is, and I can relate to what you've done as well. It's a huge decision, and you just know that you've got to bite the bullet and just do it. Or, because if you're anything like me, the last thing I ever want to think when I get older is, oh, I don't want to look back and say, what if? What if I made that decision? What if I did that? That would literally kill me on the inside. And I know everybody on this panel feels the same way when I say that. We don't want to feel that way, and we all have the power to make our own decisions and really do what we want to do, especially within this community with the tools that we have. What we can do with those in our lives is just so empowering. So I can completely relate to your story, and it's really exciting, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is. It opens up the world of possibilities when you're willing to let go of what you think is secure, what you think is safety, what you think other people. That's been really an eye opener, is to see the thinking of others and hearing about what I'm doing. I see the paradigms and I see where other people are. And it's been interesting to see that and to make a conscious choice. Well, I can believe what they say and go along with the flow, or just completely stand out and go, no, I choose to not agree with that. And I choose to go forward anyway. And there's been days, I'm not going to lie, there have been days I wake up almost in a sweat going, oh my God, am I making it, am I doing the right thing? Is this a midlife crisis? What am I thinking? And a lot of fear and all that. I can't even just describe it. All kinds of stuff came up. And I did a post a couple days ago where I was talking about the struggle between the mind and the heart. Where when people ask me why Kauai, and I just go, I really can't verbalize it other than I feel called here. When I came to this island, and every other time I've come, I've felt at home. Don't know a soul here, have no family, but when I'm here, I feel home. Something fills me, and I just felt like I had to come here. And just hopefully some people understand that if you've ever been called somewhere to do something, even if you have no explanation as to why, you just go. You go on faith that something is, I'm supposed to be here, and really just kind of let everything else go. And in my faith, there are a lot of references to just being willing to walk away and to lean on the faith that it's going to be okay. And in purging all of my belongings, that was huge because I'm at the age where most people are looking for the safety of the things they have. They're looking for the safety of a home that they're in. So if something happens, they feel protected. And so it was just a lot of that kind of stuff happening emotionally and mentally, and I just decided to go for the heart. The heart said go for it, wing it, and I did. And so it's been freeing. It's been freeing. I have a huge sense of freedom, and I was laughing with my daughter. I actually got a job offer on the other day, and I thought, wow, how interesting is that? It was a part-time job offer, and I'm like, oh, wow, how interesting is that? Because I'm not in a position to feel that I need to get a job. But I actually thought about what she offered because I thought, well, this would be interesting to meet people and to maybe contribute in a sense. But so it's just been a really cool experience, and it's only beginning. It's only beginning.
Oh yeah, this literally is the beginning. I mean, you've only been there for a couple of weeks, so we're so excited to see your journey evolve, and I believe it's just really fascinating. So with that being said, let's bring a few of our other panelists out. Let's bring Sheena out. I know you've also got a special guest that's here with us today as well, which is exciting. So take it away, Sheena.
Thank you, Alicia. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maverix Lifestyle. And Regina, I'm so proud of you. Every time I see her on Facebook sharing her story about moving to Kauai, it's just so inspirational. I still remember when we were in Vegas in January, and you were talking about you're moving to Kauai, and I knew you would. Like, I could see in your eyes that you were going to do it no matter what happens. And I mean, I did the same thing last winter. I moved to Hawaii for the winter because, it's cold in Canada. It's freaking cold. And I told myself, I'm going to live there, I was like you, Regina. I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't ready. I never really am. I kind of do things on a whim, last minute. And, I just did whatever it took, right? I mean, I sold my condo. I did the same thing as you. I just sold everything that I had, and just decided to go there. I didn't really know anybody either, which was funny because when I got there, I didn't even know I had a cousin who I've never met ever, and I met her only last year when I went to vacation in Hawaii the first time, and then the second time, I got to know her more. But, other than that, I didn't really know anybody. But the good thing about our community is that since we know so many people all over the world, it's like we can just meet up with each other and just feel like we've known each other for so long, right? I mean, I would hang out with one girl there who was in our community, and we would go out all the time, right? We would go out, we would mastermind with each other, we would talk to each other, and it's a different feeling because you guys have the same mindset, you know what you want in life. So, you always have to realize you have to hang out with the people who lift you up, who always surround positive vibes, positive energy, positive vibrations. And I remember when I told my parents too the first time that I was moving, they thought I was nuts. My friends thought I was nuts. Everyone around me thought I was nuts, but I knew deep in my heart I was going to go. And it's amazing when I got there, because I also went to Hawaii, right? But I was in a different island from Regina. I was in Honolulu, and I understand what she's saying when there's like some calling, because if you've ever been to Hawaii or you've never been there, I think setting foot in that island, there is something in that island that just calls to you, right? It just calls to you and says, you know what, you belong in this island. And it made it sound crazy, I know, right? Because at first I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But living there and being in the culture and the people, it does make sense because there's something different about the island, right? It's so peaceful. Even if you have problems that's going on in your life, even if you're going through a bad day, there's just some calming peace in the islands that just makes you, not worry about things so much, just makes you really chill. And I had that same feeling when the first time I stepped foot. I said, I'm coming back. I know I'm coming back, and it's going to be within the same year. And I just did it. But, the funny thing is, the same people who thought I was crazy kept on saying how lucky I was that I was there. But, really, it's not luck. It's just, you know what you want. You do whatever it takes to get it. And you may not be ready, because I wasn't ready. Regina wasn't ready. But you know what? Who is ever ready to do something crazy? Nobody. Nobody's ever ready, because if you're always planning to get ready, guess what happens? it never comes out, right? I mean, I used to be also in a network marketing business, and I would just be ready, getting ready all the time. And because I kept on getting ready, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything because I was too busy getting ready. I didn't even know what I was getting ready for, right? So, you just got to take action. Sometimes the actions you take you may think they're the wrong actions, but it will lead you to the right actions, right? I mean, I had signs. Maybe it's from the universe, maybe it's from God, whoever you believe in, but, pictures of Hawaii would pop out. I would see, like, things here and there that reminded me of the island. Even till this day, if I'm, like, on Facebook or something, there's just these little reminders of Hawaii, right? Because, like I said, it kind of calls to you if it likes you. And I know it sounds kind of crazy and a little ridiculous, but I understand because a friend told me about this, and then I understood as I like noticed all these things from Hawaii, and it's just these little like reminders. I'm sure Regina, if you want to come out, I mean, do you get those little reminders every time, like, you're not in the island?
Oh gosh, yeah. It's true. And matter of fact, when I was here in December, I came here to do a gut check because I was like, this is huge. I got to go and make sure that I'm doing the right thing. And I went into a UPS. I was frazzled. I had to get some business done really fast. And the clerk, as if he spoke, there's no way he could have known me. I didn't know him, and he said things to me that confirmed what I was feeling, but my mind was like, this is freaking crazy. What are you doing? You're losing your mind. And he said some things, and he talked about that the island calls you, and and something to the effect that, especially Kauai, that Kauai is in the process of calling her warriors back. And he went into the history of the island being initially run by a queen and all kinds of stuff. And he just said things that I must have stood there probably with my jaw to the floor, because there's no way he could have known these things to say to me at the perfect time. But what he said was exactly what I needed to hear. And yes, it has been such a strong calling that when I get here, I cry. I get here and I cry. It's like being with your family. And I don't have family here. And it's just like my whole being feels like I'm supposed to be here. And when you honor that, even though it's crazy in your mind, your heart knows you're in the right place. And I have learned to not worry about how it's all going to work out, because it probably won't work out how I think it should anyway. And yeah, I so relate to what you're saying. And you're right. I can see a picture of a turtle, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Picture of a beach, oh my gosh. And until I got here, now I'm running around snapping pictures of everything. So.
I feel the same way. Like, I went to watch the newest, like, Disney movie. It's called, like, Inside Out, and they had, like, this little short movie of, like, this lava volcano, and it just reminded me of Hawaii. It's just these little things, these little reminders. But I mean, for me, it's just you got to do whatever it takes to get to your dreams, right? Because life is way too short. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of my aunt, but a little over 4 years ago, I mean, she passed away from a freak accident, and she was healthy. She was going out there doing the things she loved, and people told her, you're too old to do these things, but she didn't care. She just went out there and did it. But because she was so adventurous, like, life just hit her, and unfortunately she's not here anymore. And I miss her every single day. But it also made me realize how short life is, and we just got to do the things that we want to do and find a way to do it. And I also wanted to bring out a special guest because this is actually her first live hangout, right? This lady is just amazing. There's days where I feel like, I don't know what I'm doing or if I'm doing the right thing, and then she messages me, she pumps me up. She actually inspires me more every single day just talking to her, because she also has a really big dream, right? And, I'm just so thankful that I got to meet this lady, and, I just met her over the internet, right? Because she sees what I see, she sees what our whole community sees. So, I just want to introduce Mary. If you can come out, you might have to unmute your button. Hi there.
Hi. Well, I don't really know what to say because everybody,
Big dreams, I know that. I mean, I remember we were on the phone and you said there was one thing you really wanted to do, especially helping less needy children, right? And
yeah.
I want you to explain it because I know how much that means to you.
Yeah. Well, I see stories all the time about abused children and everything, and I, it just really breaks my heart. I mean, I remember when my son was born, many years ago. I'm older than I think everybody that's on this panel. I don't know about the audience, but when Regina was talking about, oh, I don't want to be my old age and thinking about, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. I'm there, Regina. So, but I'm not going to let that stop me because I'm 64 years old, and you know, and I retired early from my job, and I decided I've always wanted to have my own business. I never thought it would be blogging. I thought it would be something else. I'm doing something on the internet, but I never knew what it would be. And here I am blogging and loving it. I've always loved to write. So when I was younger, I used to write poems. I my mom, you know, I was born in Japan. My mom's Japanese. She comes from one of the last samurais family, and I would love to write a story about that. She's 91 years old. If anybody sees me on Facebook, they've seen some pictures of her. She looks fantastic. And, you know, and I would just love to be able to tell her story sometime. So, you know, little by little, I'm kind of I know it's not easy to write stories because you have to know a lot of history and stuff like that. And I was never really into history. But anyway, I'm rambling. But the way I got into this all, Sheena, was because of your 300 and however many days it is of blogging. And I said, I want to do blogging. I want to know how to do it. So I got in there, and don't you know, I got over into this other link. And that's how I ended up, you know, doing this. And I'm just really happy. May 29th is the day I signed up. So I'm not even a month old yet with the company, and or doing this, and I just feel like in just less than a month I have learned so very much, and I just can't say enough good things about this place because I've tried so many different things, as many of you probably have, and it's going to probably make me cry because I know I have spent tons of money trying to get involved. Even since I retired, I cashed in my 401k. I spent it all. I blew it all because I thought I was getting into something good, and it turned out to be a big scam. So I don't know what led me to finally take this leap of faith one more time and try it, and I did, and I'm just really happy that I did. And it was a lot less money than what I've lost, believe me. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I really don't know what kind of things, you know, you might have for me, but
Well, I mean, I wanted you to share why you really wanted to do this in the first place with abused kids, right?
oh, with abused kids. Oh, yeah, I did go off on kind of a tangent there, didn't I? Well, sorry. Well,
Okay.
we were raised pretty poor, and so we saw a lot of children that were not in ideal situations. And you know, I'm in the U.S. I'm just north of Houston, and they have those alerts that they show on the highway all the time about Amber Alerts and children that have been, you know, kidnapped to look for this car and that car, and there's a guy that runs a show on television. His first name is John, I think, and his son was kidnapped, and he actually ends. He's doing the same thing on TV. I just, you know, I know that a lot of people do a lot of things for other countries, but I don't know how much is being done for the children in our own country right here. I mean, there are people that you read articles or you see stories about children that have been locked up in rooms, that they find you know, it's really terrible, some of the things that happen. I just don't like, it's just so terrible that it's a very soft spot in my heart. And I just remember when my son was little, and I used to go outside and play with him on the grass, and I think, oh, I would cry every time. I would think how lucky it is that he's with a mother who really loves him and who takes care of him. He could have been born to somebody who could have really abused him or didn't feed him or do something to him. And I think about that. So whenever I see children, I always look, how is mother being to them? Like when you're shopping or something and you see a mom yelling at her and her little kid or something, and it just, I just worry about it so much. So I always thought that if I ever got to that point where I could be a benefactor to all these little children, that's what I would really want to do. And just create a foundation. I know there's little places all over the United States, that look for lost children and do things like that and help mothers that are in abused relationships, so that they can go places with their children and their children can be safe. But I wanted more than that. I just feel like there's something more that can be done. And that's my goal. If I ever when I get to that point, because I am going to get to that point, I'm going to make sure that there's something better for all of these. Look at what Danny Thomas did. Danny, I don't know, maybe you're too young to remember Danny Thomas, but he created those hospitals it's for children, and they get free treatment for any kind of major illnesses, and it's just really wonderful. And you wonder, how did he ever whatever inspired him to go that route and do that. And I just want to be able to do something that big, not for the notoriety, but for the children.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope I live long enough to do it.
I think you'll be able to do it. You're stable out of children's lives.
I always, when I'm around little children, for some reason, they gravitate toward me, just like the dogs do. I mean, every dog seems to like me for some reason. My mother says it's because I have kind of a motherly instinct about me, and everybody knows that I'm very loving and nurturing and everything like that. So that's why, But children, they'll crawl all over me and do all kinds of stuff. I'll be in a room with a lot of other women, but even their own mothers, and they'll come and they'll sit around me.
Wow. Well, that's it's so powerful within this community that we can literally go on our quest to whatever it is we want to achieve in our lives at any age. It's never too late to get started. And if you're watching this right now, you need to believe in yourself and know that it's never too late. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what dream it is you want to achieve. All you have to do is hit that button below and get started and get inside a community like ours. We're real people. We all have our own story and our own journey, and we're here to support one another in achieving that. So we want to welcome you on board. You've only been in for about a month or so, so it's amazing to have you with us, and we're all looking forward to seeing how your journey progresses with us. So,
thank you. I just want to say, within like 2 weeks, she got her first sale. So I mean,
oh wow!
Way to go!
I wanted to get my first sale. So I mean, for her, it's great, and she just follows the system, right?
Yeah. I'm plugging away.
Exactly, and I'm so proud of her.
That's awesome. And that's great.
That makes me like just keep on going, just knowing that, and it's possible for anybody. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what age, what gender. If you believe in yourself, anything's possible. So, Mary, I'm so glad you're able to make it, especially it's her first hangout, and you did such an amazing job. And, I know you can open that foundation for the children.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, we're always so supportive when people achieve success, which is what I love here as well. We're all, so supportive of one another, and we always get so excited for each other's results. So it's really inspiring. So Yeah, welcome aboard, Mary. We're really excited to have you with us. So
Thank you. I'm very excited to be with you. So. Now I'll let somebody else talk.
well, let's bring Chris out. I know that Chris, I think you actually met Regina at the last event, I do believe.
Yeah, we did. I was actually, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. We actually, I was trying to think back when I first met. I think it was probably nearly a year ago, right, Regina? Was it last summer sometime? We actually met through somebody who, ironically enough, is from Hawaii, right?
I think so, yeah.
But, yeah, I got a chance to actually first meet her in person in Vegas event in January. We were talking out by the pool, and then actually this past event we spent quite a bit of time together in Nashville. So I knew your dream was to move to Hawaii. I just didn't quite know when, and maybe you didn't either when we were talking. So what finally convinced you to make that move?
I had been wanting to do it for many years, and I think in January was a big turning point in my life. And interestingly enough, it wasn't so much in my business. It was more, and I apologize for the dog. It was more in my fitness. I had decided to take on a diet, and I got to be honest. I hit 50. I was hitting 50, and I thought, you know what? I'm fighting this all the way, and I decided to take on a health quest. And when I saw what I could accomplish in my health and fitness, then I realized that anything else I wanted was possible. Because I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I like to eat good things, and having self-control in what I'm eating and getting, achieving a goal. I achieved a goal that I wanted, and ended up going to Hawaii in December, started cycling, really got turned on to cycling, which also helped the whole fitness thing. And it was probably right after the Vegas event that I went, you know what? If I can do this, I can do anything I want. And really felt emotionally prepared to take on the move, to do the things required for the move. Because during the last 6 months, it's been, in a lot of ways, grueling. I'm going to just be totally transparent. My blogging daily kind of had to take a back seat to some things. And I could have beat myself up for that, but I was like, you know what? There are things that have to be done to make the goal happen, and it's only temporary. And I realized that in getting to where I wanted to go, I'd have something to talk about when I could. And so as I've gotten here and started to settle, I've gotten back into my routine again. And that decision's been in the back of my mind, but actually taking it on was I'd say probably January. Right around coming back from Hawaii, doing a fitness regime that was working, and that event that was so powerful. All of that, I was like, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. And let's talk about when we're sitting at the table and the winning the raffle ticket. And that, again, was, I just made a declaration that I'm going to have dinner with Dave and Jacron, and I kept saying it, and you and I were joking, and I said, well, we'll be eating together because I'll be winning in that raffle. And what happened? So, just the power of speaking your vision and what you want. And I was telling everybody, hey, just so you know, I'm not available Saturday night. I'll be eating with Dave and Jacron. And I just kept saying that. And, hey, it happened. So.
It did. Was trying to get some of that luck to rub off on me. But the funny thing was, though, I think you were you were the last one picked, right? Weren't you? Or next to last?
Yeah, and I kept saying, did you hear me when I was sitting right next to you and he's saying names? I'm like, Regina Floyd, Regina Floyd, Regina Floyd, I'm next. I started to clear out room so I could get out of my seat. I just decided I had that much faith that I may be the last one, and people weren't responding, and it just kept going. And I swear to God, I reached down and I moved it, and I kind of scooted over, so I got to get out quick because I got to run up there. And he called my name. And I was like, yes! So, yeah.
That was awesome. So let me ask you this. So what would you say to somebody else who has a big dream, and you've had this dream for, you said, 12 years now, right? Somebody who has a big dream and maybe has started to give up on that dream? What would you say to somebody to try to revive that dream and believe it again, like you have, and you've actually done it?
I'd say to keep focusing on it, and in those moments when you start to have some doubt, and in those moments when you hear other people's opinions and other people's paradigms, is to go back to the things that remind you. For example, Sheena said that she would see certain things that remind her of Hawaii. So when I started to feel like, man, is this worth it? I would go back to pictures I took. I'd go back to video I took. I'd go searching for Hawaii things, Kauai things. And when I would watch it, it would stir my soul. It would stir my heart. And I just felt, okay, I'm back on track. And also, I think Sheena said this too, is hanging out with the people who are going to support you. Because unfortunately, sometimes the people we love most don't think outside the box. I forget that analogy where the crabs or lobsters are pulling the one trying to get out, the others are pulling it down. And I can't tell you how many times people around me, the people that love me, would say, wow, are you really going to do that? Why are you going to do that? Why would you want to do that? It's hot there. It's expensive there. You're on an island. There's too much water. There are bugs, whatever. People say crazy stuff. But in this community that we're in here, if I said something to you, Chris, or I said something to Sheena, they don't rain on my parade. They go, I know you can do it. I believe in you. I know you mean what you say. And it's the supportive network here and the community that I could have said, I'm going to go join a circus act and ride on an elephant, and people would have been, go for it. You can do it. We know you can do it. Can't wait to hear about it. Make sure you do a blog post. So I say support, stay around people that support you, and it's not always going to be your loved ones, and always keep your focus on the goal. And on those days when it just seems like it's out of reach, and on those days when it's exhausting and you just want to quit, focus on why and that feeling of what you were after in the first place. And the huge thing is just to revive that feeling in your heart. Revive that feeling where it rests. That's the best advice I could give.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow, I'm proud of you, Regina. I really am. I'm proud that you made it there, and you're inspiring. And I think I told you when you moved to Hawaii, someday visit you. So Lori and I'll be out there someday. That's one of our dreams, to make it to Hawaii someday. So now we got somebody we can go visit.
Exactly. See you soon.
Yeah. Winter though, probably.
Awesome. I love when you said, it stirred your soul when you were, when you were looking at things that reminded you of your dream. And, it's so important, with myself, I've literally traveled the world performing in shows. I'm Australian. I'm living here in the States. And, I've lived in foreign countries where English wasn't even a primary language. And it's such an amazing experience to step out into a whole new world, and it's.
I don't mean to cut in. You got to tell this. You got to tell the story about the towels in the fruit basket.
Oh,
this is great.
So, this is John Paul for everybody who's out there that doesn't know who he is.
Hello, Regina. We got Sheena. We've got
Mary.
It's Mary.
Yeah.
Is it Mary? Okay.
It doesn't say Mary, but it's Mary.
Okay, we got Mary. I know Chris.
Yes. Yeah, he's a little bit late today. He had some work things to deal with, but and our cat Atreyu, you can kind of see in the background, who joins us regularly.
She's unconscious.
Yeah. But yeah, when
this
I was
story
living,
is great. This
yeah,
is
well,
funny.
there's many stories, but back when I was living in Macau in China, for those of you that don't know, it's an Asian-style Las Vegas, and we literally just moved there and gotten into our hotel, and we ordered some extra towels, and generally speaking, some people could speak English, but majority of people on the street and things like that couldn't, and it was a little bit, with the Australian accent and everything, you really had to accentuate and kind of break things up a little bit, and we made a call, my friend and I, who were sharing a room at the time when we just arrived, and we asked for some extra towels. And this, I don't remember if it was a lady or a man, but they came to the door and they were so proud, and they had this amazing bowl of fruit. And you know, clearly they did not understand a single word that I said, so they kind of took a stab in the dark and thought, well, we'll just bring them a lovely old bowl of fruit, you know. Hopefully that'll be right. So we took that and we got on the phone once again, and when I started talking in a Asian-style accent, we eventually got the towels. So there was many situations like that where we literally had to adapt to, you know, the lifestyle we were in, and you know, you see some pretty powerful things when you're not living in the place that you've always grown up in, and it makes you truly grow as a person as well. And with what we do here, you know, results are not typical or guaranteed at all. We're not saying that you're going to get started and you'll be making all this money that you'll be able to travel the world immediately, but it does give you the freedom to live anywhere in the world that you choose. And you know, that's what's so powerful about it. And I think it's amazing to me, particularly in the States, how often people are not open-minded to even traveling or seeing other parts of the world. And that kind of blew me away when I first moved here. Everybody's content in living in their little bubble, and they don't want to change anything. But I know you were always one that wanted to travel.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I grew up on kind of back and forth. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and then back and forth between Ohio and Florida. And I was very fortunate to go to some high school classes in Florida as well, because I got to just basically integrate with many different cultures. And what I noticed was when I would come back to like the small town kind of, I guess the small town mentality where it's like cheers, everybody knows your name, everybody knows your business. Everybody knows you, you know, and even then living in Las Vegas for the years that we did, even though it's kind of it's fairly decent size, but it's just all in, you know, what, like 30 miles end to end, not really too big, but very congested. But that was still a very small community that I noticed. Everybody, within industries, everybody knew everybody who knew everybody within that industry, and it was just communities as well, but I was always fortunate that I kind of always just knew everybody, and even though everybody knew your business, it just helped to just have that integration overall. But I knew so many people that never traveled out of their hometown. And I sometimes, like, you know, you have your 10-year high school anniversary. And when I got that invite, that scared the crap out of me of how many people I saw that were still stuck in this, like they were accepting mediocrity in their life. They were okay with being mediocre, and there's nothing wrong with being from a small town or anything, but there is a lot wrong with not actually standing up and having a voice and just staking your claim in the world, for the world in which you live in. You have to bring something to the table. You have to go out there and get it as well too, you know. And it truly is a land of opportunity. I knew people that we lived in Ohio, and above Ohio there is Lake Erie, and across Lake Erie is Canada. I know so many people that have never even traveled to Canada, which is less than like 2.5 hours away. I was just kind of blown away. I still know some people to this day. The farthest they've gone is like across the state border over into like Pennsylvania or something like that. Like very small stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. But what's great though is you can now, with the internet and the world that we live in today, you can actually branch out and change. You can inspire people all around the world, even if you want to do that. That's what I think is really great, because what attracted me to going online originally was that you can choose to be anybody in the world. Why not choose to be somebody spectacular? And in going online, you can actually do that. You can share with who you are with everybody else. And there's no fear of anything, because there's communities for people everywhere online. Like, you could be into some really, really weird stuff, and there's communities out there for it. Like, you know what I mean? You think you got weird on you? Don't worry. Someone is already out there. There's a group for that. It's not there's an app for that. There's a group for that. You know, but that was my thing. Was I went online because I realized that we could change everything around us by just being ourselves online and just sharing that experience with other people. You know, and for me, it was learning everything first. It was getting my skill set, really getting my tool belt, and treating it as the business it is. You know, and saying I need the tools in order to do this. The only thing that separates me from others is just knowledge in a certain skill set. I have that skill set, no one can take it away from me. And that's what I was attracted to. And now that we can teach others how to do that, and we can actually do it in a way that we have our time back, that's magic to me. You know, to me, looking back as a kid, even then, I mean, I was born in '81. You know, I remember when it was bulletin board systems and like old modems, and you have to get the dial tone and everything, and it was little BBS systems. And growing up in the farm and everything, and being around that in like smaller towns, it was always, what are you doing over there? Like, what is that stuff? Like, you'll never do anything with that. That stuff's not important. But it always intrigued me. It always intrigued me to go in and try to mess with an old DOS operating system and learn how things worked and how computers communicated. But now I don't even have to worry about that technological crap. I just go out here and I do it. You know, here I just learn the skill set to market daily. You know, Alicia takes care of most of the blogging stuff. I like some of the back end stuff, and then it's great because, you know, we work together on stuff, and it complements everything. So you don't have to do everything all on your own. You're not an army of one. You're an army of many, and that's what's great about it.
Yeah, often online, people really do feel alone. They feel like they're the only ones going through the frustrations and the struggles and the challenges. You know, you're sitting behind that computer and you think that you're alone, but you're not, especially when you can become a part of a community like this, where you can, you know, jump on Hangouts like this and interact with each other, and you can reach out to people for support and help, because most likely, you know, that person is going through the same thing that you are, but they're just not posting it all over Facebook, so you think that they're not going through it. So, but usually they are, and we forget that a lot of the time. There's always somebody out there that's having the same challenges as you. And, you know, we'll be first to say that this is not easy. I mean, there's no glory in easy. Nobody remembers easy. You know, they didn't build statues for people that had easy lives. They built statues for people who stepped out and, you know, spoke their true beliefs and lived their dreams and spoke up for humanity. That's who they build statues for, people who stepped out of the norm and said, hey, I'm going to do this. And, you know, I'm going to do it with or without you. And that's what we're about here. It's
so true. You know, as Alicia said earlier, we live up towards the East Bay in California right now, and I happen to, you know, spend a lot of time down in San Francisco. And today is one day that I'm glad that I'm not down there right now, just because it's traffic crazy. But it's historical because there's the Gay Pride Parade going on today. And a lot of people forget that freedom did not come without sometimes bloodshed and a lot of voicing out to invoke people's rights. And it's something to me that I like people just actually standing up and just staking their claim to say, you know what, this isn't right, this is what we stand for, you know, and actually that's truly what freedom is, you know. And I won't get into any, you know, personal beliefs or anything like that. That's not what I was going to kind of go with this analogy here, but it is really just that freedom really isn't free unless you go out there and you take it. You know, you still have to put the time in, you still have to put the effort in to learn what you need to learn in order to help inspire others and really be educated about what it actually is that you're doing. And that's why when I found, you know, our community as well, when I found it, and when I was searching high and low for something, and I knew that there was more information out there about how to actually market professionally, how to actually, you know, craft a message correctly, how to do most of these things correctly. I found it all in one roof, and that's what attracted me to it. Was so I knew that, okay, this is now a skill set that I have where I can still go out and say, you know what, it is my right, my obligation, and my duty to be successful in life and for my family and for the people that I love. And in order to get that time back, I need this skill set. That's what attracted me to it. You know, and then I think afterwards you saw me kind of in it, and then you saw me kind of going through it, and it was so weird because I couldn't really talk to Alicia at the beginning when I first joined. I couldn't really talk to her and explain exactly what I was doing because I was still learning so much. It was still so new to me, and there were still so many different moving parts of it that I couldn't explain everything in a way. And then finally I just said, here, watch this. And I showed her one video, and then from that day on, boom. It's been great.
Yeah, I was hooked, straight away. I saw Dave Wood with the crazy curly hair. The Costa Rica Intensive was the first thing that I ever saw. That was the first product I saw, and straight away I just dived into the education. I was just mind blown with all of this new information and new terms, and a lot of people run away from that. They run away from change and things that they don't know. But we dive into it, and it was just so fascinating. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I just knew it was going to be worth it. I mean, this is not some kind of get-rich-quick scheme. That's not what we're about here. This is work. And, we do have an income disclosure at the bottom of this page. Results are not typical or guaranteed if anybody does talk about income. You can also go to income.maverixlifestyles.com. But, anything in life that you truly want, it is worth it if you're willing to fight for it. If you're willing to not accept average, you're willing to not accept being mediocre, because every single person on this planet has the choice to live their dream. I personally believe that no matter what situation that somebody is in, they can get out of that and they can truly change their life if they truly want to.
Yeah, I know that Regina was saying the whole crabs in the bucket analogy earlier, and what that analogy to me is people saying, how you can't do something in your life, or why would you want to move to Hawaii? There's going to be bugs there. There's going to be surrounded by all this water. There's volcanoes, but it's 80 degrees and it's tropical, and there's waves and it's ocean. You get an ocean breeze. You get good food and you get great people. Yeah, why not go there? So, but by staying in that same negative mindset, though, that is still accepting mediocrity from everybody around you, regardless of how good you're doing in the normal world. The whole thing is what's normal for one person is totally not normal for somebody else. Who am I to turn around and say that? I'm not. And that's why individuality within this is so great. That's why it's so amazing. And I wouldn't have never we would have never got to where we were at together if it wasn't for one day just clicking a button that was below a video just like this right now and getting started and saying, what, I'm making that decision. I'll be damned about anybody else, what they want around me, and I'm just going to do it. It would have never happened. So that's all I did was I just clicked what color is our button? What is it?
Right now? I think it's green.
See, I don't even, there's buttons, and this is what's green. Great. We don't even know what the color, so the green button, I figured it was green or red.
I'm in a green button phase right now, so all our buttons are green.
So being marketers and everything, we always test and tweak everything, so I lose track of what colors the buttons are. But there's a button, and I clicked it, and I got in, and I bought everything, and just, started learning. That's what I did. Same thing that you should be doing right now.
Yep, that's it. And Regina, just before we close, let's bring you back out one more time. Okay. And, if you can just share with the people that are watching right now that they are on the fence, they want to hit that big green button below. They want to get started. And there's a little something that's holding them back. Maybe the fear is taking control. Maybe the thought of the unknown. What would you say to those people right now out there that would help them make that decision?
While we were listening and talking here, what came to mind is something that Les Brown says, and he has some phenomenal words, but he says there's greatness within you. And really, it is your duty, your reason to be here is to share that greatness. And it may not feel great, and to you, you're just like, oh, this is just me. But in the I guess the example of me just saying what the heck and coming and moving to Hawaii, I know that by making that decision to go and do something that some people think is absolutely crazy is going to inspire someone else. I've had a bunch of people reach out to me already just asking like how-tos in just the technical aspects of getting here. So, me moving to Hawaii was not what I thought was greatness within me, but my willingness to do something that most people are afraid to even think of, and just go do it and share it totally publicly and totally transparently, and learning how to share myself and learning how to share my story and learning, like John Paul said, just we're learning. I'm learning how to share that. And I got over the fear. I just said, you know what, I have something to share. It's of value to someone. It may be one person, but the greatness within me is to do what my heart calls me to do, and then to just talk about it and share it and show others what's possible. And so everybody here has a voice inside them, and maybe there's some people watching and listening and they don't have a clue what they could share. But it can be something as like how to crochet, how to fix your faucet, how to walk your dog, how to lose weight, how to cook well. I mean, it can be anything. Things that we take for granted because we do them are things that other people want to know. And if you share your voice and your passion, it's just a stepping stone to getting to increasing to the point where you're going to do that crazy thing that your heart wants you to do and you've been afraid to do. So that's what I'd say. You got greatness within you. It's time to let it shine.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing, Regina. It's been an absolute honor to have you on our hangout with us today. You know, your story is so fascinating, and we know you've inspired many with your story, and you'll continue to. And we're all looking forward to, watching your journey as you progress over there in Hawaii. And I'm sure a lot of people are quite jealous as well.
Thanks so much. Thanks for letting me be on with you. It's really a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, definitely. And, to our regular panelists, Sheena and Chris, we always love the value that you guys share with us week in and week out. And congratulations to Mary again. We welcome you on board, and we're looking forward to your success as well. And, that's basically it for today, unless you've got some final words before we head out.
No.
You're all good?
Yeah, I'm set. I'm all spoken out for the day.
All right. Sounds good. So we will see you all same time, same place next week on the Maverix Lifestyles Rogue Hangout. Thank you all for being here. Hit that button below. As Regina said, we all have greatness within us, and it's time to take action and get started now, and we'll see you on the inside.